It's the appointed time and we have a quorum. The meeting was scheduled to end at 5:30 p.m. If necessary, I may extend the meeting by 15 minutes. If I may remind members, if you have any direct or indirect pecuniary interest in relation to the items of discussion today, please act in accordance with Rule 83A of the Rules of Procedure. Disclose the nature of the interest before you speak. Please also pay attention to Rule 84 of the Rules of Procedure regarding voting in case of direct pecuniary interest. We're going to deal with Item 1, FCR 2025-2645 today. Members are invited to approve a loan of $1.31748 billion to Hong Kong Metropolitan University under the Startup Loan Scheme for Post-Secondary Education Providers from the loan scheme. On the 4th of July 2025, the Education Bureau consulted the panel on education regarding the item, and the administration submitted a set of supplementary information. To answer members' questions today, we have Dr. Jeff C., Undersecretary for Education, Mr. Casper Ng, Permanent Assistant Secretary for Education, Professor Liu Yu Han from the Hong Kong MU, Professor Charles Kwong also from, and Mr. Raymond Chiu from Hong Kong MU. Dr. Chow will report on the discussion of the panel on education. Chairman, the panel on education discussed the loan scheme on the 4th of July 2025, where members were invited to approve a loan of $1.31748 billion to cover the cost of constructing a new campus at Shenzhen Street, Ho Man Tin. During the course of discussion, members noted that the enrollment of the universities was ideal. They have the fiscal position is robust and their repayment record was good. That's why the panel does not object to submitting the funding proposal to the Finance Committee. But as the school-age population was dropping, members were concerned how the Hong Kong MU will work with overseas universities in increasing the number of students. Some members asked the administration to provide information on the 18 loans that have not been fully repaid. The relevant supplementary information has been submitted to the members through the Secretariat. That is CB-31125-2025-01. Well, there are 15 members who have pressed the button to speak. I'll read out their names. Mr. Benson Lok, Mr. Andrew Lam, Mr. Johnny Ng, Mr. Dennis Lang, Mr. Rock Chan, Mr. Yang Wen-kit, Dr. So Cheng Wing, Mr. Chan Ka-piu, Mr. Edmund Wong, Mr. Chen Sing, Mr. Tony Che, Mr. Adrian Ho, Mr. Kingsley Wong, Ms. Lillian Kwok, and Professor William Wong. Mr. Benson Lok, please, 5 minutes. Thank you. The Hong Kong MU applies for a $1.317 billion of startup loan to construct a new campus and to create new self-financing programs. I, in general, support the funding proposal. I spoke during the panel meeting. I have 2 questions on the physical viability and the capability to repay loans. Well, I noticed that the Hong Kong MU purchased a expensive premises. The Hong Kong MU said that they paid for their premises with their own money. Well, starting from 2028, the Hong Kong MU will start repaying their loan to the government, and I wonder if during the 10 years' time after 2028, will the Hong Kong MU take out other loans to purchase other infrastructures or premises? Because that may undermine the repayment capability of the Hong Kong MU. In Enclosure 3, the Hong Kong MU set out the list of programs proposed to be operated, including the Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood Education. The Education Bureau said that in 2023 to 24, there were quite a number of kindergartens being suspended. There are a dozen of kindergartens that closed down their operation. The number of school-age population for kindergarten continue to drop. So I wonder why the Hong Kong MU is proposing to create programs in early childhood education. Undersecretary. Thank you, Chairman. And I thank Mr. Look for his questions and support. In terms of Hong Kong MU's repayment capability, as mentioned in the panel meeting, from 2028, 29 to 2037, 38, that is, during the repayment period, the balance of Hong Kong MU is about $450 million. That's similar to the operating balance over the past 5 years of the Hong Kong MU. So we're confident that the university will be able to repay the loans that we have granted and the loans proposed today. As Mr. Look said, the Hong Kong MU had a good repayment track record, so we are confident in them. Mr. Look also asked if the Hong Kong MU plans to take out other loans. Well, I will ask the representatives to address the concern. On new programs to be operated by the Hong Kong MU on early childhood education. Well, there is a demand for continuing education for kindergarten teachers. Because currently some kindergarten teachers do not hold a bachelor degree, and some of them want to obtain such qualifications. So we are confident that there is such a demand, and the Hong Kong MU has experience in operating education-related programs. Who from the Hong Kong MU will take the questions? Professor Lui, please. Please turn on his microphone. Am I coming through? No. Professor Lui, please speak into the microphone. Just now, a member asked if we have any plan during the 10 years time of repayment. Well, we don't have any plan to purchase major infrastructures. We want to establish a campus in order to enhance the environment. We just purchased student hostels, and we purchased offices for our back-end officers. When we establish a new campus, we can increase the space by 40%. Other than that, we don't have any plan to purchase any more premises in the 10 years' time. Well, the program on early childhood education is targeting teachers that teach students with special education needs. Mr. Andrew Lam. I understand that Hong Kong MU has a great record in terms of their student enrollment, so I'm not concerned about their repayment capability. The worst thing about the university is how crowded its campus is. There is little space for students. So I support Hong Kong MU in building a new campus, because that will help them recruit more students and improve the environment for them. As this is a Finance Committee meeting, I have a question on the sum of the loan. I know that $3.1 billion will be involved in building a new campus, so the loan to be taken out will cover half of the cost. The GFA of the campus will be some 31,000 square meters. So, in other words, it costs some 100,000 per square meters. I've read and looked into enclosure 2. I don't see any special building design. I wonder if the cost will include laboratories or other equipment. Before I comment on whether the cost is high or low, I'd like to have more information. Why does it cost more than $100,000 for per square meter to build such a campus? Undersecretary. We have consulted the buildings department on the construction cost. The estimates of $3.1 billion is reasonable. There are certain unique characteristics to this project. On geographic location, as the campus will be located at a L-shaped slope at the interjunction of Shenzhen Street and another street in Homan Tin. That's why we need to make use of special design or adopt special design to cater to the old and valuable tree there and to accommodate the slope. Also, the proposed campus is located at the intersection of two existing campuses. That's why we need to build also 2 footbridges to connect the 3 campuses. The buildings department is of the view that the construction cost is reasonable. The total cost is about $3.1 billion. The funding proposal of $1.31 billion account for 42.5% of the total cost of construction of the proposed building. So this has always been the practice that we adopt. Thank you. Mr. Lam, any follow questions? No. Dr. Johnny Ng. Thank you, Chairman. I've declared interest. I am a member of the Council of Hong Kong BU. The Hong Kong MU is the first University of Applied Science in Hong Kong, so I support the funding proposal. The sum is not small, $1.3 billion. I wonder what strategies the government have to make sure that we can make sure that the Hong Kong MU repay the loans. Some 7 loans involving 6 institutions involve extension of repayment period. As the loan will be granted interest-free, a total of $425 million in interest will be foregone. If the loan repayment period is extended, will the government charge interest from the institutions? The Hong Kong MU proposed to build 2 footbridges connecting the 3 campuses, and these 2 footbridges will be open for public use. So who will be responsible for the maintenance and repair of the footbridges? Is the government going to share the cost? Thank you. 2 questions, Undersecretary. Thank you, Chairman. Hong Kong MU has a good repayment track record. During the repayment period, the projected operating balance of the Hong Kong MU will be enough to cover the repayment. So we are confident. Nevertheless, to protect the interest of the government, we ask the Hong Kong MU to provide collaterals that is equivalent to the sum of the loan. The Hong Kong MU undertake that they will provide premises valued at $1.8 billion and $500 million in deposits as collaterals for their loan to fully secure it. So what happens when these financial or rather tertiary institutions have financial difficulties, well, after repaying the loans for 5 years, the institution can apply to extend the loan repayment period from no more than 10 years to no more than 20 years. This will be subject to interest at the no gain, no loss rate to the government. The interest rate in June this year is 4.23% PA. Regarding the footbridges, is correct. Well, the Hong Kong MU will bear the maintenance cost. Thank you.
下一位梁子榮。
Mr. Dennis Leung, Hong Kong MU is our first University of Applied Sciences and has been instrumental in training the vocational skills of Hong Kong students. So I support this loan proposal. But of course, education is not a lucrative business. So in extending a loan, will the government be willing to be more flexible in the policy so that we can attract more students to be enrolled on Hong Kong MU? And also, how can the Hong Kong MU, in terms of curriculum and the teaching programs, enhance their own talent pool so that they can climb up the ladder of university rankings in the world, so that you can have steady enrollment and your financial stability can be enhanced. So at the end of the day, it would enhance your repayment capabilities. What would the government do to encourage and support such initiatives? Thank you, Mr. Leung, for your support and your comments. I will ask Hong Kong MU colleagues to supplement. Well, in recent years, we have seen rapid enrollment of non-local students by more than 50%, from 2,600 in 2021-22 to 6,000 in 2024-25. Because of the increasing number of non-local students, they are facing a stressful, crowded environment. For per capita space, entitlement is only 4.6 square meters, which is lower than other tertiary institutions, ranging from 6 to 12 square meters per student. Hong Kong MU has become a University of Applied Sciences, and Hong Kong's government's objective is to promote Hong Kong as an international education hub. And Hong Kong MU would increase enrollment by 2,300 in the coming years. Therefore, the campus development project now under discussion would resolve the problems of overcrowdedness and so that the per capita per student entitlement of space can be increased to 5.7 square meters. Maybe at this juncture, I can invite Hong Kong MU to supplement. Can you? What about offering more attractive programs? Please switch on the mic for Professor Lui. Or perhaps you can speak closer to the mic. Or thank you, Chairman. I want to make a couple of points. First of all, tuition fees. For undergraduate programs, we act according to the established mechanism, so tuition fee increases are subject to approval. So there's no need to worry that because of the new campus project, we're going to increase tuition fees. As for how we can have a steady enrollment of students by increasing our teaching programs. Well, we have been working with the industries very closely in terms of curriculum design, so that whatever we offer will be in accordance with industrial requirements. We're also going to improve our hardware. We didn't have any hostel for our students. Now we have acquired properties to enable the setting up of hostels, and we are also going to have more hardware in our teaching centers. And we are now also participating in the global ranking assessment. And Hong Kong MU is the first for self-financing institutions at present. 25 to 26% of our students are undergraduate students are non-locals. There's still some room to expand that proportion. I support the application. The loan will be used for the construction of new campuses, and also it will be doing more applied science programs to work in conjunction with industrial partners. So I support all these. What about return? Have you come up with any financial model that you would assess the investment and the return and revenues from the investment, so that we can be assured that okay, it's $1.3 billion in investment, but we are going to reap some benefits and profits from the investment. Undersecretary, thank you, Mr. Chen, for your support regarding the development of Hong Kong MU. Well, we have been trying to achieve a synergy between industry and university education, and we have worked very hard to enhance their interaction and cooperation, and that would be benefit the economic development generally. And as for the revenues, of course we would have some revenues in terms of tuition fees, but it's more than that. In the future, Hong Kong MU's position will be to enroll more students through strategic measures. With new campuses, there will be a bigger student number to be enrolled. And the proposed campuses will position itself as a community health related hub. It will be promoting the healthcare related specialized programs. For example, there will be nursing, radiographic assessment, and also the chemotherapeutic programs. That would also create benefits for the community. That's also part of the return we can achieve. Well, first, or the question of gaining something out of the investment. Well, first of all, it's a financial. Secondly, it's a social benefits. With a new campus, we can increase the student number to 18,000, which would be sufficient to generate income for our operations. And our surplus at the present is 400 million per year, and this can be sustained for another 10 years. As a university of applied sciences, if we have the extra capacity, we can enroll more non-local students in our effort to enhance our Hong Kong as an international education hub. And of course, we can train more people to serve the community's needs. The financial return is mainly in the form of tuition fees. I can understand that. What about collaboration with industries, thereby creating some income, financial income? Do you have any expectation or projection about that? Dr. Kwong? Professor Kwong? Well, in the past year, we have been receiving more registered patents than in the past. But such patents have not been able to generate income for the time being, but we will be evolve more deeply in the coming years in the collaboration between academia and the industries. I have no special comment about the application for this loan, but I want to say something about the loan. I would like to read out to you one of the paragraphs in the Hong Kong MU's financial statements. Although the market is fluctuating, at the end of the financial year, the Hong Kong MU has maintained very good financial position. The strong financial position of Hong Kong MU means that Hong Kong MU can take forward strategic development in the coming years. The net asset is $5.947 billion, an increase of $770 million, or an increase of 16.5%. The driving force will include the tuition fees have been on the increase from our programs, teaching programs, and also the strong investment returns from our assets. The net profit, consolidated net profit, is $797 million. And this lays a very strong foundation on our future programs and development. I read out this program, and I'm trying to say that you have very strong finances. After purchasing the Hong Kong chunk property, you are not going to spend even more. And now you're getting a loan of $1.3 billion, which is interest-free. Why can't we collect a little bit of interest from Hong Kong MU? Because you are getting a return from your investment. So if you are getting 8 or 9% return, it wouldn't be too much to ask you to pay 2%. And now you're saying that you can apply for extension if you cannot repay in the 10-year period. If I'm Hong Kong MU, I would certainly try not to repay in full within the prescribed period. So we need to make sure that they will repay in good time. We have so many cases of extension for the repayment period because they can get an investment return from their assets. And they are providing a collateral of property. For example, CUHK has a hospital. Can you really take over the hospital if the loan cannot be repaid? Under Secretary, you can't do that, right? We have to make sure that we get a good return. Not just about financial return. Intangible return can also be good return. So the question is, Hong Kong MU is rather rich. So why can't we ask them to pay a little bit of interest, 1% or 2%? They have their money to buy a hotel. Why can't we collect some interest from them?
Undersecretary, thank you. First of all, I must stress this. We want to promote self-financing and UGC-funded institutions under our higher education policy. We want to promote diversified development of our higher education sector through different measures such as interest-free loan, land grant, and other sector-specific subsidy schemes. We try to support students and the development of the higher education in Hong Kong. We see that there is insufficient space in the Hong Kong MU. That's why we propose to grant this loan to them. That's in the interest of students. We want to enhance the quality of education within Hong Kong MU. The member gave us some figures on the investment return of the university. As we've explained in the panel meeting, you may gain or you may lose through investment. We cannot just nitpick figures from a particular year to show that the university is making money. That's not holistic enough of a view of the fiscal position of a university. Tuition fees is just one of the major channel of revenue for the university. Investment return is another. The member accused the universities of having no incentive to make repayment early because their investment return may be higher. However, we saw tertiary institutions not asking for extension of repayment, although some did. When institutions ask for an extension of loan repayment period, we subject them to an interest at the no gain, no loss rate. This is to safeguard the financial interest of the government. Mr. Yang was wrong about another thing, which is that apart from premises as the collateral, the university also provided a 500 million deposit as another collateral. That's higher than the amount of loan. As mentioned, the repayment record of the Hong Kong MU was good. That's why we are confident in the capability of the university to repay their loans. The operation models of a university and a hospital is very much different. A permanent assistant secretary, you'd like to supplement? Or rather, permanent secretary. Thank you. I'd like to give you some more information. I understand that Mr. Yang is concerned about the fiscal position of the government. So he asked whether we should subject the university to a loan, to an interest. But according to the previous decisions of the Finance Committee, all loans granted under the startup loan scheme will be interest-free for the first 10 years. Members can consider whether we should grant such a loan to a certain institution and how much of a loan we should grant them. The Education Bureau serves as a gatekeeper. The construction cost of the proposed campus is $3.1 billion. After looking into the fiscal position of the university, the Education Bureau proposed the FC to grant only $1.3 billion to them. That's because we have considered the fiscal position of the university. Professor Lui. Thank you. We are cautious in our spending. That's why we have now some $6 billion of reserve. Regarding the $700 million of balance you mentioned, only $500 million are in cash. 200 of millions of them are investment return, and we did suffer loss from our previous investment. We try to be prudent when we make use of our balance. We only made use of it previously to purchase student hostels and office for our administrative personnel because we didn't have any of it. We also have specified uses for our funding, say for scholarships. We have reserved some $600 million internally for the construction of the proposed campus. When the loan cannot be granted in full, we will make use of it. Now, in terms of collaterals, we have used our other premises and some cash deposits as our collaterals to secure the proposed loan. Thank you. I think that the questions deserve some clarifications from the administration. That's why I gave you so much time. Dr. So Chang-Wing. Thank you. I support the proposed funding and loans to the Hong Kong Metropolitan University. The administration said that the loans granted under the startup loan scheme should be interest-free, and that's a statutory requirement. It is said that $500 million of cash deposit will be a part of the collateral to secure the loan. It is said in paragraph 17 of the paper that the loan should be fully secured to protect the interest of the government. I wonder why the university is asking for a loan when they have enough reserve to cover the costs of the proposed campus. Is it because they want to earn interest from their deposits with the banks? So I also wonder, after granting the loan, will the administration or the Education Bureau monitor the use of funding and the progress of the construction? What happens when there is cost overrun, when there is delay in the construction of the proposed campus? How will the administration follow up on them? Thank you. Undersecretary. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Dr. So, for the questions. Regarding collateral, as mentioned, the Hong Kong MU undertakes that they will provide a building worth $1.8 billion and $500 million worth of cash deposit as collaterals. That's higher than the total sum of the loan. And the valuation was confirmed by the Rating and Valuation Department. The member asked how we will monitor the use of the loan. Well, when the Hong Kong MU applied for the loan, they submitted a proposal on how they will make use of the loan. They said that they're going to operate new self-financing programs. They're going to build new campus. They also have to submit, after obtaining the loan, an annual report to the administration. If we see any changes in the plan of the university, we will ask them to explain the reason behind the change, and we will, depending on the situation, follow up on the changes. If there is cost overrun and if there is any delay to the project, the university will have to bear any extra cost. Anything to add from the university? No. Mr. Tan Capio. Thank you, Chairman. I'm not a member of the panel on education. I'd like to say a few things. I fully support this funding proposal. This is how we elevate vocational and professional education and training. Hong Kong MU is the first university of applied science in Hong Kong. Through an interest-free loan and granting land to the university, we can support its development. Hong Kong is going for an industry-led education strategy, and by granting this loan, the Hong Kong MU will secure some cash flow. Another member talked about the CU Medical Center. The Chinese University Medical Council has to repay their loan with interest, and the interest rate is 5%. So I'm envious of this funding proposal. I'm cautiously optimistic about the medical center because now we have a new director, and second, we have some elites as our board members, including Mr. Chen Kim-por. Now I'll come to my questions. I notice that many tertiary institutions purchase grade A office buildings to become their premises or campuses. The Hong Kong UST purchased a new office as classrooms. So I wonder why Hong Kong MU not make use of the abundant supply of grade A office in Hong Kong. 22% of grade A offices are vacant in Kowloon East. Why don't you make use of it? As you're supported by government policies and money, can you talk about how the society is going to be benefited apart from the 2 footbridges? Under Secretary, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tang, for his full support. You mentioned about the development of the Metropolitan University. The university at Core Development District has purchased commercial buildings as campuses. They also bought hotels as student hostels. We have some new measures proposed under the policy address delivered 2 days ago. I believe that the Hong Kong MU and many more tertiary institutions will be benefited. There is a demand for student hostels. We encourage tertiary institutions to think of ways to enhance their capacity. I will ask the Hong Kong MU to supplement. Professor Lui, thank you. On the questions on grade A office buildings, well, starting from 2022, we have rented offices in Kwun Tong to serve as back-end office, as we don't have enough space in our campus in Ho Man Tin. Last year, we purchased a building in Hong Ham, and because that's close to Ho Man Tin, that serves as a training center for administrative officers. So the back-end office in Kwun Tong will be relocated to Hong Ham. We are also making use of our existing resources. Second, on how we're going to contribute to the community. Well, all along we have been training talents And we have been working closely with various industries to make sure that the students graduating from our universities will have the skills that meet their needs. We are also trying to enhance their capacity to attract more non-local students who come to Hong Kong to study. Thank you.
到香港整體社會發展。
We hope that what we've been doing will be in line of social development. I was talking about the benefits for the community. Anything on community benefits? Professor Kwong? Thank you, Mr. Tang, for your questions. In the past, Hong Kong MU worked very closely with the communities. We have a collaborative research projects, and we have services such as physiotherapy, which is made available to the public. And in the future, we also offer other services to the community, and we work with the NGOs in integrated research and social services. Mr. Edmund Wong, this is an application from the Hong Kong MU. I support this application because it is in line with the education policy of the government, and the programs they're offering will be in line with social development and our economic development. As an accountant, what I would focus on is the sustainability and whether the enrollment is good. In 2021 to 22, there are 26,000 non-locals. The number will go up to 6,000 in 24-25. So we are attracting talents to study in Hong Kong. Hong Kong MU has been doing well, and their repayment track record is very good. Some colleagues are concerned whether what would happen if they are unable to repay the loan in good time. Well, I'm not worried about that. But I have some questions about enclosure 5, about repayment record. For example, Adam 6 Ningnan University, approved in December 2001, and it hasn't been fully repaid. What would the government do if the loan cannot be repaid? So my question is for the Education Bureau. If a loan has been outstanding for so long without full repayment, what kind of procedure will follow? This is about recoverability in terms of the fault. Undersecretary, thank you for your support, Mr. Wong. Since the launching of the Startup Loan Scheme, we have approved 40 loans to the 18 institutions. As at the end of August this year, all the loan repayments have happened according to the timetable. Of course, for some of the loans that they have applied for extension of the repayment period. To safeguard government's interests, all loans extended to them, including this one before members today, would require the collateral to fully secure the loans. So in the event of non-payment or default, we can invoke the necessary procedure to recover the loan by taking over the collateral. Of course, we don't want to see this happen. We'll be in constant communication with the institutions concerned and monitor their financial situation closely. If they are facing financial problems, they will not just be finding it difficult in repaying government loans. It will also affect the study of their students. So we need to look into the causes closely. But so far, we haven't encountered such a difficult situation. Permanent Secretary, I would like to offer some background information for Mr. Wong's information. In respect of the Lingnan University's loan, the loan amount is $205 million. They have repaid over 90% of it. The outstanding amount is $20 million, according to current estimation. In 2028, the remaining balance will be fully repaid. Mr. Emma Wong. So I'm told that 90% of the loan has been repaid. This is important for our information because this paper is available not just to us but also to the public. So perhaps you can give us a new paper telling us that notwithstanding the failure to fully repay, only a small balance remains. And here I would like to compliment the Hong Kong MU because they have been in close liaison with the professional sectors to make sure that their programs are organized in such a way that they meet social needs. Undersecretary Mr. Wong, at the education or after the Education Bureau meeting or briefing, we have provided a paper for members' interest. It's item 1 in the enclosure. This is a loan for the Community College of Lingnan University, and we have set out the unpaid balance. It's $20.6 million. The outstanding amount is $20.6 million. There are 18 loans which have not been fully repaid. In the table, we have provided further information to the panel members. And I also would like to thank Mr. Wong for showing his compliments. Mr. Lam Chun Sing, this application is supported. We had a discussion at the education panel, and we have obtained some elaboration and explanation from the Hong Kong MU, and I do think that they would be able to repay the loan. There are people who are worried about our repayment abilities, but in the future, in operating your programs, if you find it difficult to repay the loans, would it affect your future development? This is not the first loan that the Hong Kong MU has obtained. There are still other loans to be fully repaid. The outstanding amount is 400 million plus, and now this is going to add $1.3 billion to the tally. And it's been said that in the northern metropolis, you are going to we're going to have a university city develop that as a university for applied sciences. Would you be interested in playing a part in that development in the northern metropolis? And also, in the event of your inability to repay, you may wish to apply for an extension of repayment schedule. And the Education Bureau has said that they would refer to certain criteria to see if the extension can be approved. My question is, will the Finance Committee's approval be required in such an event, just like the extension of repayment period for the CUHK hospital? Of course, we would like you to see Hong Kong MU repaying the loan in a timely manner. And if you want a discussion in this council, that we will be caught in a dilemma, because if we don't approve, your development will be stifled, and if we approve, we may be committing more than we want. So I would like to know whether the approval of the extension would require both consent on agreement from the Education Bureau and the Finance Committee. Or would the loan repayment affect Hong Kong MU's participation in the Northern Metropolis project? And what consent or approval would be required for extension? Would the Undersecretary answer the two questions? As for the future participation of Hong Kong MU in the Northern Metropolis project, I'll defer to Hong Kong MU. But now I would like to address the procedure for applying to extend the repayment period. First of all, Hong Kong MU may wish to may submit an application to the Education Bureau and would refer the matter to a subcommittee on tertiary education. It will pay regard to the financial situation of the institution in question, and also how the institution has got, or what the institution will be planning to repay the loan. In February 2010, the Finance Committee has approved that if the loan has been repaid for a certain period and then they find it difficult to make the repayment, then the repayment period can be extended from 10 to 20 years. But for the extension part of the repayment period, the no gain, no loss rate will apply to the outstanding loan. We will handle such application prudently. So far, all those approved applications have been repaid in a timely manner. Permanent Secretary, I can confirm the Undersecretary's point about the operation or the way the system operates if the extension is approved. Unless the institution is in such a poor financial situation that it will not be able to handle the problem in another 10 years, or they cannot repay the loan with interest. And then we would return to the Finance Committee for approval. If not, if the extension has been handled in accordance with the approved procedure, there will be no need to return to FC. What about participation of Hong Kong MU in Northern Metropolis project? We have secured 3 loans. The first has been fully repaid, and the other loan is repaid to the tune of 70%. $95 million is still outstanding, and now the third one would have to be repaid later. This time we are going to get a loan of $1.3 billion. So the outstanding amount in total will be quite a big sum, but we handle our finances very prudently. We would conduct very detailed financial analysis before we make any move. And the repayment period will be from 2028 to 2038. We have projected a surplus for those 10 years, 400 million plus. We have indicated our interest in the participation of the Northern Metropolis development, but there are still some other uncertainties. We need to look at the cost of our participation and the costs. So we would make more details available when we are nearer the time.
Mr. Tony Chair, thank you. All along, I've been supporting the education industry in Hong Kong. I'm glad to see that the Hong Kong MU is creating more self-financing programs, and the programs listed in Enclosure 3 meet the needs of Hong Kong. Dr. Andrew Lam also said that he wanted to know more about the cost of construction. It cost some $10,000 per square feet to build this campus. I think that's rather expensive. Just now, the Undersecretary said that the campus will be located on a slope and is located in a green zone. That's why a lot of trees have to be felled. Can the administration offer additional information on why the construction cost is so high? The fiscal position of the Metropolitan University is robust, but I still think that they have to be prudent in their spending. I'd like to have more information. $100,000 per square meter is rather expensive. I believe that the land will be granted on a nominal basis, and I believe that the $3.1 billion will be solely for construction. It is said that the campus is located on a slope and a lot of trees have to be felled. There is a site nearby that is a primary school. I think that the site is now serving as a temporary car park. Is the Education Bureau planning to redevelop a new primary school there? Why does the Metropolitan University not make use of that piece of land to build their new campus? I believe that you will adopt this principle of no frills when you build a campus. Can you elaborate? Thank you. Undersecretary. I thank Mr. Che's support for the project. We try to compress the construction cost as far as possible. Although the loan is interest-free, the university will have to repay the loan. The loan amount to only $1.3 billion. The rest of the cost, 58%, is borne by the university. That's why we have a common goal to lower the construction cost. The member asked for specific reasons for the high costs. We can provide additional information after the meeting for your reference. On the sites near the proposed campus, well, they're designated for other educational purposes. We're working with the Lands Department on that piece of land. It seems that the administration have no plan for the vacant site nearby. Perhaps now it's too late for you to change your location. I know that we are just lending this sum to the universities. Still, we have to make good use of the money and the site. I think that we should improve the layout of the campus because the site is located in a green zone and at a slope. And next to the campus is a vacant primary school. What you have is just a plan. I think that there is still room for revision. So is the site granted with a nominal price? Professor, thank you. on a point about construction cost. Well, there's a few reasons for why it's so expensive. We have a L-shaped slope, and there are also many different requirements. We have to retain a old and valuable tree there, and we also need to build a basement for car park. And excavation is involved. That's why the cost is so high. The construction cost will also cover the 2 footbridges to be built. Also, there are many laboratories in the campus. Thank you. Mr. Kingsley Wong. Thank you, Chairman. It seems that the development of education in Hong Kong is decoupled from the industry development. Many graduates cannot find a job. The programs were supposed to be opened. I think that is in line with our development direction. Do you have any projections on the employment rate of your graduates? Would it be 80%, 90%? This is to make sure that the graduates can actually secure a job. Professor Lui, on potential employment rate for your graduates. Thank you. I can supplement with some figures after the meeting. As the programs all to be operated are applied programs, we offer diploma on nursing studies, bachelor's on diagnostic radiology, psychology, so on and so forth. The employment rate is approximately 100%. I fully support it. Thank you. Next, Ms. Lillian Kwok. Thank you. The Hong Kong MU, the former Open University, is a role model in the self-financing sector. I took some courses at your university. I do know that you need to upgrade the facilities of your campus. Many non-local students are studying at university, and you play a role of connecting Hong Kong to the rest of the world. I have some questions, Chairman. I know that the programs proposed to be opened are vocational related. How can you make sure that the facilities and equipments that you procure are up to date? Because in the future, we may make use of artificial intelligence in our teaching. Because I'm worried that after the buildings and campuses are completed, the lands, the equipment cannot support the future development of technology. Second, many universities connect to their respective communities by making use of their research and development projects. I think that you can take a step forward. I know that you support the community by offering, say, mental first aid services. Can you do more research in the community? My third question. This has been covered by some other members. There is a vacant primary school adjacent to your proposed campus. I think that the administration should review the location. The L-shaped campus is rather difficult to work on. There are many primary schools in Ho Man Tin. in Ho Man Tin, we have La Salle, we have Pui Ching primary schools, along with many others. Do we still need a new primary school there? Thank you. 3 questions on how the university will support the community and the primary school site. Who will take the questions? Undersecretary. Thank you. I will ask the Hong Kong MU to answer the first 2 questions. Regarding the third question on the adjacent primary school site, we note your view. We will look into it. Thank you. Professor Lui, I will answer the first question, and the second will be taken up by my colleague. We try to be flexible in procuring our facilities. We also consulted the trade so that we know what the trades need. We keep an open mind. We try to make sure that the facilities to be built will meet the demand of the industry. What about the last question on how the university is going to support the community? Thank you, Chairman. Let me give you an example. We have been working with the NGOs in our community. We have an Alzheimer's pilot scheme, and recently my team and I conducted a study on how young people are affected by living in subdivided units. The study has been ongoing for over a decade. But of course, we can always do better. We will continue to work with community organizations. Thank you. I thank them for their effort, but I believe that the Metropolitan University will still have to look into the biotech and health and life and health technology development of our country. Thank you. Next, Professor William Wong. Already put my questions. Dr. Wendy Hong. Thank you, Chairman. It is said that the per capita space is 4.5 square meters, which is far lower than the norm. As the student population of the Hong Kong MU will continue to grow, that's why we need a new campus. The Hong Kong MU proposed to build a new campus on Shenzhen Street. How long will the construction period last? The government is going to offer $1.3 billion of interest-free loan, and that account for only 40% of the total construction cost. The Hong Kong MU will have to fork out $1.8 billion. The construction life cycle is so long in Hong Kong, and often it takes some 10 to 15 years to build a single premises. We have so many vacant commercial and industrial sites and buildings in Hong Kong. Why does the Hong Kong MU not purchase those vacant offices and properties to serve as their campus? If you do so, then you have readily available space. The premises purchased by the Hong Kong MU cost only $10,000 per square feet. That's far cheaper than building your own campus. As you've done it before, why don't you buy offices instead of building a new campus yourself? The startup loan scheme has almost been exhausted, and I wonder if any applications been rejected by the administration under the scheme. Thank you.
方面嘅問題。
Questions on 2 aspects. Undersecretary, the construction time and other related issues, I will defer to Hong Kong MU. Have you considered buying the existing properties, idle properties? Yes, we have bought a hotel for our hostel and commercial property for our office. But we have to consider the campus as a special kind of property. We can buy a commercial property for our backup office or training center, but a campus is different. We need a library and classrooms which require special planning and cannot be accommodated in an ordinary commercial building. And even when we can buy some commercial properties, we have to consider the logistics if the traveling time or distance is too much. Yes, there are many commercial properties in East Kowloon. We have look into those, but they are not suitable. And this site for expansion for our new development is just next to our existing campus, and the two can be connected through footbridges. So we have considered the suggestions made by the member, but we think we need to build our new campus at this slope site. How much time is needed for construction? Initially speaking, we'll be able to commission the new campus in 2028. Commissioning the new campus in 2028? Yes. There's another question about applications that did not secure your approval. This time we received 5 applications from institutions, about 6 loan items, and we do our assessment based on quality of the proposal, and we decided that we should extend the loan to Hong Kong MU. All the previous commitment will be exhausted after extending this loan to Hong Kong MU. In the future, having regard to the development plans of self-finance institutions and our affordability, we'll see if there will be a need to seek further injections into this loan scheme. So in the future, when we receive further applications, we would come back to FC for your approval. Ms. Starry Lee, I support the development plan. Hong Kong MU, as a self-finance institution, have been working very hard, and they have some hard-won achievement. If we want to develop Hong Kong as an education hub, it will only be reasonable for the government to extend the loans to them. You know, even for the 8 UGC-funded universities, they would have to seek donations as well. I know the Hong Kong MU's healthcare-related programs are very popular. That's why we have seen good developments of Hong Kong MU. So I very much support extending loans to self-finance institutions, which find the going not really easy. And this loan will be the last under the current scheme. I believe in the future we should continue to extend reasonable support to self-finance institutions, and a loan such as this is going to be very helpful. I have a question for Hong Kong MU. Your reserve, how are you going to make good use of your reserve? We support your development plan for better universities, but like citizens in the community, we are also like to know more about how you're going to make use of reserve. And I'm also concerned about Kowloon East. It seems that Hong Kong MU has not been very active in working with the community in Kowloon East. So I think collaboration projects involving your university and the community has been on the low side. Members are concerned about how you can extend support to the community. Who will take the questions? Professor Lui? Thank you for your questions. On how we are going to use our reserve. Well, we do it very prudently. Our institution has been established for more than 30 years. We have been managing our finances very prudently. It was only last year that we could purchase a hotel for a student hostel and also a commercial property for our backup offices. And why is it that we need to ask for a loan from the government despite our reserve? We know we have to understand that the commitment is very large for a new campus. As for the reserve, some parts of the reserve has been earmarked for other designated purposes. And that's why we need to extend a loan to improve our cash flow, to make sure that we are financially sound to take forward our plans. Community support and resources. Professor Kwong, we agree that we should work with councillors and district councillors. We have been organizing activities and programs such as games for primary and secondary students in the field of national security. And we will also be working with local personalities in organizing activities. So that gradually will be become a more developed University of Applied Sciences. In Kowloon City, there are 3 universities. In the past, we have fewer opportunities to cooperate with Hong Kong MU. I hope more will be coming in the future. Please communicate with us more frequently. Of course, you can always come to seek our approval for funding proposals. Yes, it's important that we talk to each other. Before I invite other members to speak, I have a list of 4 members who are waiting to speak. For those who would like to speak, please press the button now, because after the 4 members on the list have spoken, we'll put the item to the vote. Mr. Liang Man Guang, with regard to this loan application from Hong Kong MU, I support this as a matter of reasonableness. I was a graduate of Hong Kong MU. Well, we had to pry between the classrooms on both sides of the road. Of course, the environment has improved now. The loan would give the teachers a better teaching environment and a better environment for students to study. Of course, this is in line with the government's objective in developing universities of applied sciences. And this loan will be a very good gesture to support the development of a University of Social Sciences. This finance committee paper is of course about funding, about money. How can the Hong Kong MU been so how can you be so successful financially? Because you can enroll sufficient number of students. You offer popular programs. So you need to consider the development needs of different professions in conjunction with the professional sector. So how can you consider the needs of students? For example, in the DSC, the kind of courses that would have attract enrollment is catering and hotel services. So you have to consider the kind of courses, DSC courses that applies program students would like to have. Of course, we're not asking you to do charity in offering programs. You need to provide training opportunities for your students. You now run a clinic to offer healthcare services. What's the criteria? What's the principle for charging your clients? Are you going to provide community service and disregard the cost, or are you going to achieve somewhere in the middle and also, are you going to provide a program for gaming? There are different areas. You have people responsible for managing gaming events and administrators and branding as well. I believe if you offer such programs, you can also improve your financial position further. On the question of offering applied sciences program and also in the providing service, how are you going to find ways to benefit the community? Of course, we would pay attention to student needs in organizing our programs. Additionally, we have to look at the trades and the industries and their needs. Otherwise, our graduates will find it hard to get jobs. We hope that the relevant sectors would participate in the designing of the programs. And that's what the government has got its objective set on promoting Hong Kong MU as the first University of Applied Sciences. Of course, we can offer internship and training opportunities, practicums for our students. It would be difficult if we do not cooperate very deeply very closely with the relevant trades and sectors. So we'll certainly take into account views expressed by the trades and the sectors. As for our clinics, we have a physiotherapy center. We charge very reasonable fees, which is a bit lower than market rates. Mr. Yu Park Leung, I support this funding application all along. I'm all in favor of developing Hong Kong as an educational hub, as an industry. As according to the paper, Hong Kong MU has a very good track record of loan repayment. And in the future, program development, they are doing a good job in matching or meeting Hong Kong's development needs. I'm also in support of the multi-faceted, diversified vocational training of professional talent. I'm grateful for Hong Kong MU for cooperating very closely over the years with the tourism industry in terms of arrangement of training opportunities and internship. And Hong Kong MU has been in close cooperation with our industry players. And that's the role for a university of applied sciences to go forward. As for the campus development, the new campus, in my view, will be very important for the university because it will link up with the IOH present as well as the main campus that they have now. It would unify and link up the different parts of the university campus and make the best use of your resources.
個成本都會增加咗嘅。
I know that the construction of footbridges will heighten the cost, but I do think that we have to make full use of the campuses that we have. And I hope that the Hong Kong MU will continue to collaborate with different industries as we transform our economy. Thank you. I think this is just a comment. Undersecretary, in response. Thank you. I thank Mr. Yu for his support. I have nothing to add. Mr. Chan Kim-por, thank you. Hong Kong want to become an international education hub. We have to invest in tertiary institutions as a result. Well, there are 8 programs proposed to be operated by the new campus. It would be the best if the university can enroll more students to increase their revenue, and their graduates will then be able to contribute to the economy. The government conducted various studies and research on manpower projection. For healthcare professionals, as at 2030, there will still be a shortage in some professions, and there will be oversupply of manpower in certain other professions. I wonder if the Hong Kong MU have made reference to these survey before they operate new programs. Who will take the question? Undersecretary. Let me say a few words first, and then I will ask Hong Kong MU to also address the questions. The 8 proposed programs set out in Enclosure 3 are more about community health care. That's because the proposed campus will be positioned as a hub for community health and wellness. We promote the parallel development of UGC-funded and self-financing institutions because self-financing institutions can respond to market demand and situation in a more timely manner. As the members said, our demand for talents is ever changing. The university may propose to open other programs in this proposed campus. If there is such a need, they can apply to the Education Bureau, and we will try our best to support them. Many members are concerned about this issue. Professor Lui, thank you. Before we propose to open any new programs, we always make reference to the manpower projections conducted by the government. We also constantly talk to the trade because they are the one that know about the demand the best. As we are having an aging population in Hong Kong, there is greater and greater demand for healthcare services. We are the first institution to offer diagnostic radiography program. We are data-driven. We only make our decisions after making reference to relevant data and figures. Ms. Carmen Khan. Thank you, Chairman. Well, I've listened to the administration's and the Hong Kong MU's response. I fully support the funding proposal. The space per student is just 4.6 square meters, and that's far lower than the norm. That's why I support the construction of a new campus. Second, Professor Lui talked about the program on mental health, sports and recreation management, e-sport management, diagnostic radiography that the Hong Kong MU is about to create. Now we have amended the post-secondary ordinance to develop Hong Kong into an international education hub. It is said that we're going to grant $1.3 billion out of the $9 billion under the startup loan scheme granted to the Hong Kong MU. I wonder if we're going to grant any more loan on top of this one. I understand that the loan granted after 2008 may be extended from 10 years to 20 years, subject to interest at a no gain, no loss rate. I see that there is still some outstanding repayment from universities. I wonder which university asked for extension of repayment period, and regarding the interest at the no loss, no gain rate, it should be different at different times. So what percentage point are we talking about here? According to the minutes, the interest rate is 2.4%. How did you come up with this figure? Did the subcommittee calculate this? I wonder which entity approved of the extension. What criteria did the subcommittee take into account before granting any extension of repayment period? Undersecretary, thank you. I will ask Mr. Lai to address the first question. Thank you. Ms. Khan's understanding is correct. The Finance Committee approved $9 billion for the startup loan scheme for post-secondary education providers. If this $1.3 billion is granted, all the remaining balance would have been exhausted. In the following, we will talk to the Education Bureau to look into what the capital demand is in the future, and if there is such a demand, then we may come back to the Finance Committee again to inject another sum of capital into the loan fund. Ms. Khan talked about the interest at the no gain, no loss rate. The FSTB set the rate, and we review it once every year. So the interest is adjusted annually. As mentioned by Ms. Khan, the interest rate is 2.41% in 2025. We look at the HIBOR and the capital cost of the government before we come up with the figure. I can supplement with you with more information on how we arrive at the interest rate after the meeting. Thank you. We've set out in the set of documents submitted the 18 loans that have not been fully repaid. At the last column, we have included a note. If we look at note 1, it will say that, this loan has been granted an extension from 10 years to 20 years. So if there is a note next to the column, then you will know that this loan has been extended. Ms. Khan asked about the extension arrangement. As at today, there are 8 institutions that have applied for extension of repayment period. 10 loans were involved. All of the applications were submitted to the Committee on Self-Financing Post-Secondary Education. We take into consideration the fiscal position of the university and the plan that they have. The committee would make recommendations to the Secretary for Education, and the Secretary will be the one to eventually decide on whether extension is granted. Does any other member wish to speak? If not, after Mr. Tony Che has spoken, we will vote on the item. Mr. Che, 4 minutes. Thank you. We've discussed this item for over 100 minutes. From our I'd like to comment on the Education Bureau's approach. I have some criticism. We've just talked about the difficulty of construction and these costs. If they're willing to adjust the plan, then the cost can be lowered, because next to the proposed campus, there is a site planned for a primary school. If we can make use of that piece of land, then the construction cost can be lowered. We're talking about $100,000 per square meter. If you don't have to conserve the tree, if you don't have to work around the L-shaped slope, then the cost can definitely be lowered. Perhaps now it's too late, and I don't want to delay your construction timetable. I already said that I'm going to support the funding proposal, but I think that we should learn from this. I think that the government should be more proactive. Resources are limited. I think that the government should take a step forward to benefit everyone. Thank you. Mr. Yan would like to speak for 1 minute. Thank you. His mic is not on. Thank you, Chairman. Many members are concerned about the proposed use of the site next to the campus in Kowloon City. People living there have been looking forward to a new primary school. Although we already have many of them in Kowloon City, many of them are not good enough. In Kowloon City, there are many schools, but their conditions are not ideal. We want to improve the learning environment for our primary school students. That's why we need this piece of site. Thank you. If there's no other questions, I'll put FCR 2025-2645 to a vote. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Any objection? If not, I think that the members who voted are in favor of the proposal. I declare the proposal passed. The next meeting will be held on the 26th of September. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.